I'm pleased to travel with you, Scout Harding.
Just call me Harding. Should I call you Professor Volkarin?
Oh no, Emmrich will do. This doesn't seem a group to insist on formality. You're so widely travelled for one so young.
Traveling seems to happen when you're a scout for a semi-political cross-border organization.
I'd been offered opportunities when I was younger. I just never took them.
Emmrich, the world's still out there. You're already seeing it. As my ma likes to say, a Mabari's not worth coppers till he stops chasing his tail.
I'm sorry?
Just means youth's not everything.
So, young Lord Parvis joined the Shadow Dragons. What a small world we live in.
You know Dorian?
To Winter Mage's visit, young Parvis was sent over for a term by his father. Tremendous potential, but appallingly flippant towards the dead. And most other things.
Do you have family back home, Emmrich?
Close family? No. How time goes. I always thought I'd get married one day.
Really?
I was younger once.
But necromancers are just so dusty.
I've found companionship amongst the ladies and gentlemen of my circles, thank you. No one for a while, however. Until Rook.
Aw.
Oh, you sweet talker.
I'm surprised some of us still wear pants. I never thought the necropolis was a place for romance.
Oh, when I was a student, there was another boy I quite fancied. How I wanted to impress.
Of course.
So I showed him a corpse I'd been permitted to practice dissection on.
Sure.
Things were promising until the deceased sat up. A passing wisp wanted the body. Utterly destroyed the mood.
I bet. Emmrich, if you liked someone, what would you do? To show them you liked them, I mean.
Strangely enough, I might have found myself in that situation recently.
You mean you and Rook?
You noticed?
Emmrich, everyone noticed.
Well, it began when we spent some time together in the Memorial Gardens.
Don't, spirits hang around there?
Oh, a few, certainly.
Emmrich, that rune you enchanted for me doesn't seem to do anything.
Well, that shouldn't. Oh, I never aligned the etheric flows. How did I must have been distracted.
You have been a little lately. I mean, what with you and Rook becoming...
You noticed?
I'm sure you two getting together is... Only Rook's kind of younger, so...
It's not... What are you getting at, Harding?
You two are sort of moving quickly.
May we change topics?
Emmrich? About earlier, when I brought up you and Rook being together?
Yes?
Look, you were in a crypt with all your dusty books, and then suddenly Rook bursts into your unlife, and...
I keep my books pristine.
I get it. Rook's Rook. Wild and eager, just whisking you away, and now it's all candles and showers of ghost petals. It's great. But you've also been, kinda preoccupied? Mopey.
Mopey? I am not mopey, Harding.
Yeah, you are. You're so mopey, you misaligned the spirit ether, it's twice this week, and your skull thing is crooked.
My collar pin is perfectly straight. Oh, I do worry sometimes what people might think about Rook and myself, given our ages. Not to mention the spectre of acting like a besotted fool.
You're not that bad. My ma always says, it's fun to go at full gallop, but you still have to keep your eyes open. Tree branches and stuff.
I will. Thank you, Lace. Your power is quite unlike other magic I've seen, Harding. Has coaxing it forth been difficult?
It's actually easy. Maybe too easy? Actually, do you have tips on holding magic back?
I know mental exercises to calm the mind, but if the issue runs deeper than...
Great, I'll take 'em.
Tell me if I'm prying, Harding, but do you feel any remnant of the Titan's shade?
Oh, no. Well, maybe. Yes? It's complicated.
Would you care to talk about it?
I think the Shade was a splinter of the Titans that recognized me as home. She brought the horrors of our past. But the anger was mine. And now I know and feel things I didn't before.
But not as a separate entity.
Exactly. And hey, thanks for asking. Are all curiosity wisps as friendly as Manfred?
Yes, indeed. But there is some danger if they become more sophisticated. There's the curiosity that leads one over a hill, and the curiosity that kindles a house fire.
Is that where demons come from?
Only one of their many origins, I'm afraid.
Emmrich, what are dreams usually like?
Well, there's no usual with dreams.
But are they ever where you're in a dream with someone else and,
Well, other people do frequently feature in dreams.
But what's it mean when you're together?
What do you... Together.
This is all new for me.
The sleeping mind wanders. Intimate dreams are perfectly normal.
Oh, thank the ancestors.
What has dreaming for the first time been like, Harding?
It is so confusing. Sometimes I'll be in a place I know, but mixed up, or somewhere I've only read about in books, and I'll be doing something, and then time skips back and I have to do it again, but it goes different or wrong.
No matter how hard you try to cleave to the original path?
Yes. Why? It's so weird.
Do you hail from Ferelden, Harding?
Born and raised near Redcliffe.
Ferelden's a storied kingdom. Its heroes have shaped the path of our age.
That's the nicest thing anyone up here has said about Ferelden. Most people talk about how Ferelden's just dogs and mud.
Terrible. You mustn't pay them any mind. Have I mentioned how much I love your conservatory and the lighthouse? What a tranquil space. You've done wonderful things with the plants. I'd thought their magic was dormant. The heart speaks across all things.
I didn't actually do anything with them. They just appeared. When I first set up, they were, all dead, or something. I left to go make a sandwich, and when I came back, they were everywhere.
Ah, a confluence between a shift in the fade and your subconscious?
I'm gonna ask them, very gently, not to turn into demons and kill me. Emmrich, why are the fade plants acting like real plants?
I'm afraid you've lost me.
They were wilting. I had to give them water.
Ah, they may have sensed your expectations and adjusted their behavior accordingly.
They... what? I'm gonna need a moment. So, Emmrich, you're saying that my fade plants aren't actual plants?
Well, no.
So, what are they?
More the idea of plants. And if my suspicions are correct, they're undergoing a very interesting fluctuation. Completely harmless, certainly.
I got some real plants for the conservatory. Should I go slow introducing them to the fade plants? Keep them on opposite sides of the room for a bit?
But why?
That's how you do it with cats.
I can't help but feel I should better explain the situation.
Let's see if the plants like each other first.
But they're not... Oh, you're incorrigible.
Emmrich, my plants look the same, but feel more solid today.
Aha! I'd read theories, but actual proof?
Emmrich.
The ancient elves could permanently alter the fade. I believe your thoughts revived some of their magic.
So, I believed in plants, and the lighthouse gave me plants?
And through your care, you've tipped them from a dream to self-sustaining reality.
Ah, they like me.
More or less, yes.
Emmrich, can a spirit possess an inanimate object?
Certainly, if drawn to it for a reason.
Can a person possess an inanimate object?
A person isn't a spirit. The souls of people are infinitely more inscrutable.
So someone can't die inside a cursed suit of armor that traps their soul?
The convolutions for that to happen would... Why do you ask?
So I'm reading this story.
Oh dear. You mustn't believe everything novelists put in their books, Harding.
Were you reading The Gore Knight of Bloodhaven too?
It's rife with misinformation on magic, a complete fantasy.
It's just a story.
And what if a child reads it? People misunderstand spirits already.
Right, but did you like the part with the possessed exploding eyeballs?
I must have put it down before that.
That was the best part!
Harding, I found the perfect book for you. Spirits and Possession, a primer. Also, I threw in a delightful selection of supplementary materials that elaborate on several concepts. I highly recommend Igmar Trettenhoff's Projected Being on the metaphysical nature of objects perceived in the Fade.
What?
Well, I'd love to discuss what you think of his arguments.
Will there be a test?
Oh, would you like there to be?
Emmrich. No. Okay, Emmrich, did you like the new book more than the Gore Knight novels?
I fear the revered mothers of massacre was a bit much for me.
Really? I thought you'd be used to gruesome.
In real life, there's a chance to bring dignity to the dead and comfort to their families. Also, these novels grasp of anatomy.
A half-spirit goat man might have 3 hearts. I've actually never been to Navarra. I've heard so much about the,
Grand Necropolis?
Cumberland Summer Exhibition?
The market?
The Cumberland Summer Exhibition isn't just a market.
Fine market and horse show. You know, there are some fine examples of horses on display in the Grand Necropolis.
I traveled with someone from Navarra once.
I'd heard. One of the Pendergast family, wasn't it?
Did you know her?
Navarra's not a small kingdom, Harding.
I know, but with a name like Volcaran, I figured you're also nobility.
You thought...
No?
I'm afraid not.
You're really not a noble or something? Volcaran just sounds so fancy.
It's a commoner's name. My father was a butcher, my mother a cook.
No offense, but you don't talk like it.
Oh, yes. Without my magic, my schooling with the Watchers, it's education that makes the man, Harding, no matter what anyone claims.
I, didn't say anything?
I'm sorry. I've had to argue the matter before back home.
If you weren't a Watcher, where do you think you'd be?
I admit I haven't given it much thought. And you? What if you hadn't joined the Inquisition?
Oh, I don't know. Might have gotten married, maybe. Children, vegetable garden, goats.
Do you regret not having those things?
How do you regret something you don't have? Don't know enough about it to regret it, right?
Excellent point. A botanist!
What?
I considered your earlier question, and if I weren't a Watcher, I should like to become one of the great botanists. Is that funny?
It's funny because it's perfect. I could totally see it. You tending to your garden, sniffing the dirt, discovering new plants, gently asking the slugs to leave your roses alone.
Well, I should think so. I would have spent a lot of time on those roses.
Emmrich, does magic ever make you feel itchy?
Where are you experiencing the sensation, Harding?
It's all over. Maybe more prickling than itchy?
Like thin sheets of lightning below the skin?
That's it.
Lyrium, activating in your blood. Does it ever last longer than a few seconds?
Way more. I wish I'd asked the Oracle about it before she turned back into a rock.
I have a question, Harding, if you don't mind my asking. As your de facto physician, have you and Rook had any more difficulties with touch?
The skin thing? It's been going good. I'm gaining more control every day.
Wonderful to hear.
And there's loads of ways around it anyway, with a little imagination.
You've put thought into that?
You don't spend summers hanging around Ferelden Barns without learning some tricks.
How informative.
Emmrich, I'm not a child. I'm just short.
Besides, our relationship is more than just physical.
I miss having a dog. Not sure the lighthouse would be right for one, though.
Why not something smaller, like a nug?
A nug? They're basically tiny pigs that breed like rabbits.
My pig Lucy was the sweetest and cleverest creature.
You had a pet pig?
Well, she was the neighbour's pig. I was 4 or 5. She'd always let me hug her around her neck.
I'd give anything to see that.
Please compliment your mother on those apple dumplings you brought back for us, Harding.
I'm telling you, Ferelden has the best apples.
The ones Navarra imports from Orlais are quite good.
Orlais? It's so warm there. Their apple trees grow easy. Ferelden's have character. You know the first thing I'm going to eat tomorrow?
Almost certainly a sandwich.
They're just so good. What's your favorite?
Cheese toast.
That's not a sandwich.
When I was a student, we'd make pots of rarebit and toast slices over the fire and talk all night.
Okay, but toast in cheese sauce isn't.
Harding, I'm not entering into an argument on the taxonomy of foodstuffs. Again.
They're the best, aren't they? You try a pork one?
They looked delicious, but I abstained from meat.
Oh, so vegetables only? Sounds real healthy. I couldn't give up bacon, though. It's so good.
Every watcher must decide where their balance of death falls, what they will and will not take a life for.
You're so strong. So you don't eat meat, Emmrich, but can you eat insects? Are those meat?
Even they breathe and drink and dream. I can prepare my own meals. I don't wish to be a bother.
But it's fun to share meals, and apple cheesy butter noodles are meat-free. Don't worry, I wasn't going to make you bug cakes. You're making something later tonight, Emmrich?
Just spiced porridge with currants and apricots.
Breakfast for supper? I'll be there. So, you and Hezenkos used to know each other?
We were students together, then partners in work.
It's always sad when friends become enemies.
In Johanna's mind, the Watchers betrayed her first by reining in her experiments.
The Morn Watch has rules about doing experiments?
We hold ourselves to the highest of conduct.
So, how's being a lich?
Things that pressed give way to understanding. The fade runs even deeper than I'd known. But it's different now, moving through this world.
I felt the same when I touched the stone. But what I eventually realized? Everything I felt was always there. It was just me who'd changed.
Very sagacious. And true. I do have official robes to mark my lichdom, but they're reserved for formal occasions.
What's more formal than being a lich?
I wouldn't want to seem ostentatious.
You're literally wearing a crown.
Lace? I've noticed that you look different to me now as a lich.
Yeah, you mentioned how everything looks different now.
No, I meant you look different from other dwarves. There's something about your aura, though it comes and goes.
What, really? Is it the Titan thing?
It must be. There's such a fascinating texture to it. I've wondered something, Harding. Might your lifespan be extended, bound to the Titans as you now are?
Nev said the same thing. Do you really think so?
If it's true, you've a good name among the Watchers if you need company in eternity.
Thanks. And if I'm an immortal rock lady, I promise I'll check in on Manfred.
Oh, would you? Well, thank you. Well, if it's true, and you find yourself wondering about the years ahead, I was hoping...
Since you're a lich, we'd be friends forever.
I'd like that very much.
There's other liches in the necropolis, right? Do you meet? Do you have, lich lunches?
They've welcomed me into their company, shared secrets that would have taken decades to master. Yet They keep calling me young Volcaran and informing me I needn't rush things so much.
You've gone from senior professor to junior lich.
It's taken some adjustment.
Okay, Emmrich. What if you go to a party with your mortal illusion on and someone hands you wine?
I'd politely decline.
Refusing the nice gesture? Your host is hurt. You think they might cry.
I suppose I could pretend to sip it. I'm not sure the glamour would...
See? You have to think this through now. Manfred showed me his magic the other day.
Ah, how did it go?
I was practicing lifting stones, and he kept saying, rock. Then he tried to set one on fire?
I'll need to go over the list of approved combustibles with him again.
I don't know. Fire rocks seem promising.
Manfred was very pleased to see you the other day, Harding.
I missed him too. One day, I bet he'll even be able to cast something other than fire. Can Manfred eat?
Well, where would it go?
But can he?
He doesn't need to.